Yeah, Sreedhar, like, can you tell me about yourself, like how you are into this industry and what is your expertise?
Yeah, so from IT industry, majorly works with a lot of big firms. I mean, right now I'm working with one of the big four consulting. I had my master's, way back in 2005. It's been close to 18 years into IT industry. Started with, a couple of major companies in AIG, IBM, and then been with one of the big four right now. With cyber strategy, I started my career with more on the risk and compliance piece. That's where slowly heading into the cybersecurity space from last 8 years. I was also right now I'm authoring a book
Oh,
called
nice.
Cybersecurity in Indian Healthcare.
Okay.
That's what I strongly believe it's not so matured enough. Um, where we are not really taking things pretty seriously in the Indian context. The privacy of the patients, the security, the safety of the patients, their identifiers when they come to hospital. So all those things we are not really taking pretty seriously. That's from a healthcare perspective, and also from life sciences and medical devices perspective. We are not so significant in investing the technologies on the medical device security. So these two aspects I really want to pursue my research on into the healthcare as well as on the medical device security. These two I'm more interested working towards. I think hopefully in maybe next couple of years I should be able to publish certain white papers along with the book, and then slowly really wants to get into the services business in healthcare domain in the Indian context. That's what I'm really looking at.
Got it. Got it. So, do you think like what are the two any measures to be taken in cybersecurity for the healthcare? Can you give me your insights? Like, what is the gap are right now in this industry?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I was mentioning, we are not really taking the privacy of the patient, the security of the patients pretty seriously. That's one side of it. And the second is with respect to the hospitals or the manufacturers in the healthcare sector. They are also not really adopting the technologies what the rest of the industry is really looking at. Okay, so the major gap is I say definitely from a people perspective, and also the processes we are not really defined any security specific process, and also the technology aspect. So we are really lagging in all the three aspects when it comes to the security. Okay, so from technology wise, I see at least with AI is really emerging. Now the industry, we were working with one of our clients and in the industry forums very recently. They were having they're really majorly looking at earlier they used to ask the questions to the consultants saying that what are the technologies really getting evolved in the healthcare industry. Now they are really asking the question, what other industries are following in terms of the technology space. That means that they really want to adopt a huge technology space, huge technology accumulations in serving patients. That's what we see a huge trend in terms of the technology evolution. They're not really looking within the industry, they're also looking really beyond the industry as well. What the consumer industry is really looking at, what let's say the manufacturing industry is really looking at, what the financial services are really looking at, where they're using the generative AI platforms in terms of getting up to date with the technologies comparable with other industries. That's a major shift which we are really seeing in the world industry across the world. But definitely to the Indian context, it definitely needs to get matured in that space. And also a lot of big players are coming into the healthcare business. A lot of the small healthcare organizations here are getting acquired by the Middle East firms, getting acquired by the US firms. So definitely the technology evolution is going to be coming into the Indian market as well in the next couple of years. Okay, so that's what we see the trend in terms of the technology.
Yes.
Obviously, when you see the technology is really trending, you start adopting a lot of technology platforms when it really comes to the telehealth or even regenerational therapy. Let's example, if you really want to set up a telehealth entity, you have to really talk to your infrastructure providers, you have to talk to your network service providers, you have to really talk to your whatever is the medical device platforms you will be leveraging it.
Yes.
That they should be talking to, and then you should be talking to the software, be it in the the invoicing system, your sales, your marketing, and you have to talk to the the manufacturers for your pharmaceuticals, and then you should be talking to startups, what's really evolving in the market in terms of the technology. You should be more aware of the regulations in the industry. So if you really want to set it up at a telehealth entity, you have to really look at all these aspects, right from your basic infrastructure and the network support guide to the AI technologies, what you can really leverage in the market, right? So when you're really setting it up, all these various kinds of technologies, definitely the security is the key. Uh, I can quickly share one of my experiences very recently. One
Yeah.
of my cousin, she's a doctor. She recently completed her post graduation. Okay, in gynecology. She opened up her practice very recently. She got one patient. It's for the pregnancy treatment. She came to the hospital, and unfortunately that has been ended up in abortion, which is a second time abortion. So so my cousin figured out that there is certain issue with physical challenge with her womb where the baby really generates, right? So which can be treated with a bit of medical attention for a couple of months. Unfortunately, I mean, that ended in abortion, and then she has came to the hospital with her aunt. Okay, and then after the treatment is done, after the abortion is done, she actually came to the doctor's cabin, and then she was crying all over, and then she was telling, "Don't explain my problem to my aunt, because if you explain that problem, saying that there is a problem in the way the baby grown in her womb, it's her aunt may force her to get a divorce from with his son." Right, so it's more of we have to understand the sensitivity of the patient problem.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty easy in the Indian market to tell what's her problem. We even tell the clinic support team. We even tell the admin staff if they ask like, what is the problem with this patient, right? But if you can really tell that pretty openly, even to the stakeholders with who she came up with, that could have been resulted in ending her life on the marriage.
Yes.
Right, so it's a pretty critical to save patient information, especially if something is socially exploitable, right? So that we had, and then my cousin was telling, I learned a lot during my graduation on the PG, saying that patient safety, privacy is so important, but this is where I'm experiencing it. If I could have tell that to intentionally or unintentionally to her aunt, saying that there is a problem, it could have been resulted in a completely different direction. It's a life-changing thing for the patient, right? So when you are really, so two aspects. One is that we are getting the technology into the space, and the second is we are not really so sensitive towards the patient. So these have to be treated together. When you're really getting the technology, if you're not really being so focused, on the patient data, the patient safety, it can be resulting in a lot of challenges. So that's what we need to acknowledge first, even before solving that problem. Sorry, you're on mute.
Today's topic also, we are going to discuss about the future of telehealth only.
Sorry, I think I lost you in between.
We are discussing the topic of future of telehealth today.
Right.
Topic itself tells like we are waiting for two more people to join, like maybe like some technical glitch.
Okay.
Yeah, but like when it comes to telehealth, like all these big players, healthcare kind of thing are adopting. I recently saw one holding that Apollo Hospital has kept that Apollo second opinion,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where the people want to get the second opinion. They opened a separate vertical also for that.
Exactly. I think Apollo is really coming up with a pretty good speed on this one. I don't think anyone else, especially in the Indian market, based on my observations into the market. Yeah, they are the ones who are doing the Apollo 24/7. That's what I'm leveraging for my kids.
Yes.
For my first kid, I was a little scared whenever she hits into fever, the small challenges physically. But for my second kid, I'm more inclining towards utilizing Apollo 24/7 because I have a bit of knowledge now gained through my first kid's experience. And for second kid, at least since we have the knowledge, I'm just utilizing that platform to connect to the doctors and then get the treated at the. If things go a little worse, then we will definitely need to reach out to the actual hospital. But otherwise, the telehealth can really solve close to 50 to 60% of your costs, your time, and also it can really be inefficient as well.
Yes. In real time, it's also reduces the anxiety of the patients also to calm down their any problem they get.
So true. When you're getting an instant availability of the doctors,
Yes, exactly.
right? Which definitely, let's say in the middle of the night, your baby had a huge, temperature or above 1 or 2, right? You definitely will get panic if you don't have a doctor available, and then you will be rushing to hospital to figure it out, the availability of the doctors, and then to get treated. If you have at least a doctor available, then you have a confidence that okay, we can really pass through that situation very quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what is definitely Apollo is really doing a great service for I mean, definitely we're doing a lot of business in the background, but this is going to really help the patients and patients as well as the the take carers of the patient is really help in a better way.
Okay, Sridhar, let's go into the actual session discussion. Like today's topic is like transforming healthcare and the future of health, telehealth and regenerative therapy. So I'll have a one. Let me introduce you to our audience also, and meet Sreedhar. Is a senior manager and cybersecurity in healthcare for Big Four Consulting, and we also have Dhanpal just joined now. Dr. Dhanpal Sadan. He is a BDS MDS, FIOS, and endodontist, root canal specialist, and from SS Super Speciality Dental Hospital. Hi, Dhanpal. Dhanpal, can you on your camera also, like so we can see you? No worries. Like, let's start with your question, Sridhar. So, like, Sridhar, how did you perceive the role of cybersecurity in ensuring the safety and privacy of patient data in telehealth and also the therapy platforms? What measures should healthcare organizations implement to mitigate the cybersecurity risk efficiently?
Yeah. So patient safety and privacy is pretty important, which we should be definitely acknowledging in the Indian market. That's the sensitivity has not been there. We have to really make sure that we really increase that sensitivity. That's one. And second, if you're not really being in understanding or acknowledging that the significance of that patient safety and privacy, you can get resulted in a financial loss for the healthcare organization. You can get resulted in your reputation in the industry. It may get resulted in the trust of the patients. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty significant impact if you're not really acknowledging the significance of the privacy and safety of any patient data. Let's take an example. A patient come to your hospital, okay, and then they'll be giving all their identifiers, Aadhaar card numbers, their address, their phone numbers when they're filling in the form. We may think that it's a pretty easy information. What if that has been acquired by a hacker, a financial hacker? They can just get all these identities and then can go into the market, can apply in a simple example, layman's term, he can apply for a credit card on your name and then start using that credit card for any kind of financial purposes, right? Which you cannot really control if you are not unable to make sure that the security has been implemented for not having the data leakages, right? So that's the first aspect. And the second, it can get really resulted in, let's say example, a patient getting treated in your hospital. If the data is getting leaked, saying that this particular patient has, is going under with this therapy, right? If it is any sexual transmitted diseases, or if anything which is more of a, which can be socially impactable, diseases, then there will be a discrimination, in the society for that patient. There will be a discrimination, in her employment, with her employer, right? So we have to make sure that there will be a huge impact both from a patient perspective and also from, healthcare organization perspective, in terms of the financial loss, regulatory fines, the trust with the organization. All these things will be at impact.
Yeah.
And the second part of the question, how do we really mitigate it, right? First, we have to make sure that the cybersecurity is not just only a tech thing. It's more of a people thing. It has a process, because the data can be leaked through the people as well. A doctor can really talk about very pretty openly the patient's condition with, her caregivers, admin staff, and anything can really happen. So the people is pretty important. The process is important, and then the lastly comes with the technology. Okay, so that's where from a mitigation perspective, what's generally we recommend for healthcare organizations is first set up your, understand the significance of various aspects of the patient data. That's first. And second thing, define certain policies and procedures in your healthcare organization to make sure that we will be taking care of the safety and the privacy of the patient. Okay, so setting up the policies, setting up the procedures in any healthcare organizations is really, really important. And the third one, which I can really say, that you should have an incident response procedures if there is a data leak happen, right? Which is going to be a pretty, impacting significant for the patient as well as healthcare organization. You should have an incident response mechanism. What are the procedures you should be following if they, let's say if you lost the data, or if a system has been hacked by external parties, how you should be responding to it. Generally we used to do a lot of fire drills, right? To make sure that we are, being pretty effective in combating if any fire incidents happen in the hospital or in the healthcare organization. In similar way, you should have the cybersecurity drill happen. If a system gets hacked, what should be the response mechanism? Who are the people needs to respond it? How you should be alerting the stakeholders? How you should be containing that particular incident, without spreading to the other systems, etc. So you should have an instant response procedure, and then you should be, conducting, proactive monitoring, and then the communication with the stakeholders. And then finally, I say, in the mitigation, you should be talking to all your, in the forum, saying that what are the various kinds of cybersecurity issues are really happening in the industry, how you should be proactively managing it. So you should have a knowledge base with respect to the healthcare industry, specifically to the healthcare organizations. If you're a large scale healthcare organization, you should have, connect with all the industry forums, and then, your peers in the market, so that you can continuously get an understanding of what are the various cybersecurity threats really happening in the market, how you should be get ready for that. Okay, so that's in short, in terms of getting a sensitized towards the patient safety and security, privacy, and also what are the key mitigation steps you should be following.
Yeah. Next, we'll go to we'll ask Dhanpal also his insights. Dhanpal, can we have a question? No, I think like Sreedhar, yeah, he's there. Yeah. Dhanpal, like how has the telehealth impact the delivery of endo care, and what opportunities and challenges to do telehealth platform present by providing remote dental consulting and treatments? Unmute your mic. It's not audible. Unmute. Yeah, talk now. No. Yeah, you can check. Meanwhile, we'll ask Sridhar the next question then. Sridhar, can you explain me what are the key cybersecurity challenges faced by healthcare providers in adopting the telehealth, and how can organizations stay ahead of emerging cyber threats in the rapidly evolved landscape? Unmute your mic.
That's fine now. This is fine now.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, the key challenges healthcare organizations are really facing is the very first thing. You cannot really predict these cybersecurity attacks from where it's really coming from. So you don't have a knowledge base, at least in the Indian context, you don't have that specific knowledge base right now available for the industry to understand what kind of cybersecurity issues can really happen. That's one challenge which they were not able to predict. And the second thing is the cybersecurity aspect. If an issue comes, that's sometimes it becomes pretty unique to your organization. Let's say if I'm a hacker, if I'm attacking a specific healthcare organization, I won't be attacking the same way for into the next healthcare as well, into the next healthcare target. So there's a huge set of attacks. The volume of attacks are really growing every day. That's one challenge which definitely healthcare organization needs to address. And the second challenge, the bigger challenge I see is these attacks are pretty unique to nature. So that means that you have to be always on your toes to make sure that you are really being ready to really face any cybersecurity challenge. That's the second. And third, you have to make sure that your people and process are really stringent enough to really avoid. It's more of we call it as a preventive security measures. So you have to make sure that you train your employees, to make sure that they understand the security aspects. I won't really call it as cyber. More sounds like a technology, right? But yeah, security aspects. It can be a physical security in an organization. It can be technology security. It can be patient security. Anything of that nature. So they have to really get trained. So the training definitely involves a lot of costs, etc. Right? That's a third challenge, which is more of a financially. And the fourth challenge I see is the technology space. As I was mentioning it earlier in our conversation, if you really want to set it up a telehealth entity, you have to really talk to close to 10 or different providers. Right from the technology, from a resourcing, in terms of the regulations, etc. You have to really talk to a lot of stakeholders, figure it out. So the healthcare is everything is really revolving around the supply chain, right? You cannot really manufacture a drug within the health, let's say hospital. You cannot manufacture a drug. It's just only thing, the asset for a healthcare organization is the people, right? Except that you have to completely depend on external providers, the suppliers. So how much seriously they are really following the security practices in line with the industry, in line with the regulators, in line with the worldwide market, how it's really going. That is a challenge for you to monitor, right? When you don't have a control of it, let's say example, you're getting a software from an authorized provider. If he's not really following certain, let's say example, in healthcare, we do have standards like HIPAA for the security, or you have NIST NIST cybersecurity framework. If they are not really following, that's where these ISO is still, it's good, but being a little old in the market. So you should be following the HIPAA standards, HIPAA frameworks, the NIST frameworks. If your supplier is not really following those practices, there are the fair chances that that those technology can get easily hacked. If the technology gets hacked, it's just not only a reputational issue for the healthcare organization. Not only reputation for the vendor who's actually supplying that software, but it's also a reputation challenge for your healthcare entity as well. So that means that you should be doing a thorough checks with your technology providers to make sure that they're really following those practices. That definitely is going to be a challenge if you don't have a cybersecurity program or a cybersecurity entity or a committee within your organization. So you should have a specialist to do it.
Got it.
Yeah, those are the key challenges, which definitely healthcare organizations are really facing.
So, can you share me some examples of successful cyber security strategies or initiatives implemented in healthcare sector to safeguard healthcare platforms and technologies from potential cyber attacks?
Yeah, I cannot really say as examples because I cannot really take any scenarios from my prior experience with various organizations, but I can really tell what are the best practices. You should be following in terms of combating the cybersecurity aspects in an organization. Because the cybersecurity, not recently, the last year, AIMS, all the servers in AIMS got hacked. All the patient data got really leaked, right? But no one was, wondering. I mean, everybody thinks that it's just because of the hacker who did. It's his mistake, right? But we all really believe that okay, AIMS has no fault, and then it's just only the fault of the hacker who, say with certain intention of, getting the money or ransom money. With that intention, that's a false or malified intention. But what cybersecurity professionals will say, how much fault? I mean, the intent of the hacker is not a fault. You are not really being compliant, or you're not really being taking the proactive measures to make sure that your data is safe. That's your fault, because the hackers, that's their job. We can say, right? That's what they do day in, day out. It's not their fault. That the hackers will definitely do it. So fault is with the organization, where you're not being able to cope up with the measures to be taken to make sure that the patient data is safe. But in the Indian context, you all feel believe that okay, what AIMS can do in such scenarios is just only the fault of the hacker.
Yes.
Right? But his actual fault really lies with the healthcare organization, for not able to acknowledge there will be a hacking. There will be definitely a lot of hacks will happen. It's your responsibility to make sure that even if somebody hacks it, you're not really losing the information. That's one. And second thing, that means that you have to really make sure that you acknowledge, and then you set up your procedures to lay out a cybersecurity platform within your organization. Okay, so that's one aspect. And the second aspect, even our the governments are also not really putting a lot of stringent laws against it, because as I was saying earlier, they're taking the patient sensitivities pretty lightly. I mean, similar to how do we really take it in a general? Let's say example, if there's a challenge with a specific patient, or even in our own circle, the family, we tend to tell everyone, saying that here's a problem, this one, and then all the people will start asking questions. Why do you have that problem? It will get treated or not. But the patient will really be feel pretty odd, but we won't care, right? That's what it really happens in our society, because you don't have a stringent regulations which has been forced by the government, right? And there is no proper education to understand the sensitivity of the patient data. That's what it's really happening in the market, because there's no proper education. So that means that you should be educating, even the patients have to be educated, saying that it's your right to ask for any information with respect to your own data. At the same time, if a healthcare organization informs you or leaks your data to any other entity, it's your responsibility to question that, right? So patients have to be educated to exercise their rights and responsibilities in that aspect. At the same time, healthcare organizations also need to make sure that what are their responsibilities as well in serving patients with the trust. Okay, so those are a pretty important practice from a technology aspect, and also the people aspect of it.
Just nice, Sreedhar. You have shared your useful insights that I also learned something new because of your expertise that we have. And Dhanpal, like, can we can you talk once? Yeah, I think there is some technical issue with his this thing. uh, that's okay, no worries. Like, and like Kavya also has some technical issues, James. No worries. Like, so hope we'll again have a other session regarding this. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.